All right, everybody, we are on the hour, so we're going to get started with this webinar. So, guys, my name is Whitney Hale. I'll be emceeing this webinar tonight. We've got a fantastic series of webinars hosted by the Chinese Leadership Council. We'll be trying to do 2 Mandarin and 1 English webinar every month or so. We'll be hosting a fantastic panel of speakers every time. For today, we've got 3 great speakers. Our first speaker tonight is going to be Andrew Chee. He'll be talking about ticket sales and how to business build. He's a young entrepreneur from building in Market Toronto and Market Malaysia, a super awesome guy. Currently, he is a national supervising coordinator, a gold master unfranchised owner, a shopping annuity master member. He was the local coordinator in Toronto from 2017 to 2000. Oh, and currently, and he was the UBP coordinator for Toronto from 2015 to 2017. Currently, he is also the director of field development in Canada. So everyone, please help me welcome Andrew Chee. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, good morning, everybody here in Asia. I'm coming to you live now from Malaysia, and good evening to everybody in North America. Thank you so much, Whitney, for that beautiful introduction. It's just an honor for me to be here with you guys. I'm really we're gonna have a lot of fun, like speaking, about the importance of education and sharing of that education. But before I get right into it, I just want to show my gratitude to the Chinese Leadership Council for inviting me on here. I've learned so much from the past 8 years in building my own franchise business, and a lot of that is due to the leadership that we have in the Chinese community. So I'm really happy that to be involved and to be included in this amazing webinar series. But so getting right into it, I thought I'd share a brief background of when I first started with the unfranchised business. I was just working at a warehouse. It was in logistics and doing shipping and delivery. And one thing that I noticed when I started working was that at the first the first week when I was at my job, it was my first job ever. I absolutely loved it. I woke up with a spring in my step, and I wanted to be the best darn employee at the warehouse that day. And it was like that for a couple weeks. And after a while, I'm not sure how many of you guys remember this, but I remember in your first job when everything's really exciting. But then a few couple months go by, and we realized that hey, that excitement that I had in the beginning was starting to slip away, because what I noticed was that the limit that I had on my earnings and on my income was limited to whatever my boss had planned for me. So during that time, I was looking for something else to do, something to get out of that routine. And just so happens that Market America came into my life. I took a look at the business plan. I thought it made sense, but I didn't really understand it. So when I started my business, I registered out of good faith in a friend of mine. But after I went to my first international convention in Greensboro, it really opened up my eyes, and I'd say I really started building the business after the second conference that I had, which was in Miami in 2010. So that was how I got started. Today, everything that we've accomplished and everything that we've achieved with the company is just it's a byproduct on the education that we've received, like from the company and from the leadership team itself. But I remember in my first year, the main thing that I wanted to do was I always loved the culture that the different teams had. I loved the company because everybody seemed like everyone was really helpful, and I wanted to be very helpful for everybody, and I also wanted to be the best that I could be, and making me irreplaceable. And that's how I started out. But when when I wanted to become as helpful and as possible, I studied the system, worked hard, but then very soon I realized that everyone else didn't necessarily share the same work ethic. So I also took notice that the big leaders in this company were great. They were very helpful whenever we needed them, but more so they were more about sharing their vision, and more importantly, they were valuable and pretty much unnecessary. And I mean that in a good way, like unnecessary in a meaning that when I noticed like some of the big leaders in the company, they were at conventions, at conferences, and at seminars, they were having fun, and that was because their team was very much system dependent, and that was something that really opened up my eyes. Now, investing in education was something that I've always been a big advocate of. We've worked with, I mean, who would we rather work with? Like the people that are, people that are invested in personal growth and education, or would we rather work with somebody that that isn't? So is it someone that needs you to carry them, or someone who can help you push the team forward? So that was something that was really big for my team and I, which was we kept pushing on the importance of investing in education. And I mean education, not just in the business, but also outside of the business, because we started looking around and I noticed there's a couple of like conventions and conferences that help entrepreneurs grow. Like for example, in 2018, a couple of weeks from now, there's the PFC conference in Toronto, and that costs about 750 Canadian dollars to 1,025 Canadian dollars for a 3-day conference. There's also Future Festival, which was that was phenomenal this year. Next year, the tickets start at $13.99 to $21.99. This is for a 1-day event. But for the 3-day event that they have, like they have a 3-day summit, that's over $3,000 worth in tickets. For Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within, it starts from $895 all the way to $2,995 for 3 days. The 10X Growth Conference is also a 3-day event for starting at $2,500 all the way to $20,000. So when we take a look at the education aspect in Market America, we've got a world conference coming up, and overall that costs about $200 plus the travel for us to get there, which which really puts it into perspective. Like the cost of the conference itself is a lot lower than anything else, of equal or or lesser value, in my opinion. And so what it really comes down to is, I think tonight we're going to be talking about how we sell the tickets and how we share our education system. I think the best place to start is we've already know why we want to get better. We already know that we need to keep getting more educated to move up. But I think a great place to start is to really understand what happens at a world conference or international convention. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Now, at a world conference, in my opinion, it's a huge tech conference where we get together, we learn about new trends, and we learn about up and coming trends. We also learn about the things that are happening in multiple billion-dollar industries, like health and nutrition, which is heavily studied. We learn a lot about the beauty industry and what's happening in those industries, and we're also we also get to learn from different people that have succeeded in building their own franchises. And why it's relevant is that it teaches us as unfranchised owners how to build our unfranchised businesses. But why is it relevant to somebody that's not an unfranchised owner? Number one is, again, they get to learn on all the new up and coming trends, which our company has, we have put research into, and for $200 they get all of that in a 3-day spread out conference. And also they get to evaluate as somebody evaluating the unfranchised business. They get to evaluate to see if it's something that's worth their while, and if it's $200 investment, which will potentially bring them a 6-figure residual income. Isn't that something that that in itself, I think, makes it worthwhile? So basically in my experience, there's 3 ways that we sell tickets. And I'm going to be going through each one with hopefully some relevant examples that could speak out to you guys. But the first method that I'm a big advocate of is by doing the sale yourself, like doing a personal sale of the $200 ticket. And I'll give you an example of what happened with my first real sale of a $200 ticket. It was to a good friend of mine. His name is Victor, and Victor, he was one of the first few people I ever showed the business plan to. When I first told him about the business, I said we were starting something. We're gonna make a movement, and this company was doing a lot of cool stuff online, and we showed him the compensation. Victor, after seeing that plan, he told us to go jump in the lake, and he didn't want to have anything to do with this company. So after being set back, just so happens at the time it was during conference time, and I had already secured my ticket to the international convention. At the convention, Victor wasn't there with us, but I don't know if any of you have ever felt this before. I think the people that have been to convention before know exactly what I mean. My butt couldn't sit in the seat. Like, I was on the edge, and the whole time I was kicking myself, saying, man, if only Victor was here, he'd start to see things, it would really open his eyes. So at the time, I took out my phone. When we went back to the hotel, I jumped on the Wi-Fi right away, and we went on the Messenger app, and I messaged Victor. I said, Victor, you're really missing out. I think we didn't give you sufficient information. If you know what, I'm getting a ticket for you to come to the next conference with us, and if I don't get you there, I would have failed you as a friend. And Victor didn't respond much on the app, but what that did was it showed him that I was serious about what we were doing, and it showed him that, hey, maybe there is something a little bit more. So when I got back to Toronto, I met up with Victor in a parking lot. He had borrowed my car for something. And I told him again. I said, Victor, we're doing this together, whether you like it or not. Like, if we don't, if I don't give you the right information, I really would have failed you as a friend. And he said, great. While you were away, I thought I'd do some digging, and I do some research, and I couldn't find anything wrong with the company. Where do I sign up? So that's how Victor got started, and he got to his first convention in February in Miami, and today he's a supervising coordinator with the company. It was really funny, like how it all started. But what I found from that experience is that belief is absolutely the key. The difference between me before going to the conference and after going to the conference was a world difference in belief. Before the conference, I liked the company, and I liked what it was trying to do, but I didn't really believe enough to be able to tell my best friend Victor that I would have failed him as a friend if I didn't get him there. So that was one of the biggest changes for me. The next is, things to keep in mind is communicate effectively when we're trying to do the personal sale. Make sure we give the right information that is relevant to the person. But also, when in doubt, remember to blurt it out. Here's one thing, though, that we made a mistake on, is to avoid setting false expectations. I remember Victor and I, we did the same. We did a personal sale approach to one of his prospects when he was starting out, and it was to Greensboro, and we said, hey, why don't you come on a trip with us to Greensboro, North Carolina? There's going to be there's some shopping. There's a shopping mall across the street from the hotel. You can come have fun. It's going to be a fun trip. And when she got on the bus, we then said, oh, by the way, we're going to a conference. And that didn't really work out. So out of the 3-day conference, she showed up for half a day and spent the rest of the rest of the trip shopping at that little mall across from the Sheraton, which was kind of a waste. So you probably already know this, but just wanted to let you guys know that, hey, we were dumb and stupid, and we made these mistakes. So let's not set any false expectations when we get people to the conference. Second is the good news about this is that we only the we only need to really put in like the sales effort on the first method. The second and third method, it's really all about leverage. I'm a big advocate of using the team, because once we got our core group together, it becomes easier and easier for us to get into the mode of moving tickets out, because we're surrounding ourselves with people on the same mission. So here we got some pictures of some team activities that we do. Just anything that comes to mind, whether it be a pool party or whether it be an ambush where we throw somebody in the pool, or whether it be eating, or whether it be a warehouse. We did some warehouse BB gun events, and we did lots of karaoke. I remember it's just having a lot of fun, and bringing prospects out so that they can meet the team first before we push them out onto the option of coming to a conference with us. So the important thing to notice on, when we use the team is that, if you can't build with them, don't chill with them. So I like to surround myself with people that are forward looking, people that we can really build the business with. And also it gives the prospects a chance for them to get to know us as people first, before just getting to know us as business partners. So this way, it gets them a little bit more comfortable in coming with us for a trip, and just have lots of fun. One thing to avoid is being too pushy, especially on the first and second meets. I also forgot to put on here, but another thing to avoid is to avoid the avoid bringing too many prospects to an event, because that's really important. We want to keep more business owners and more unfranchised owners around, so that we can really control the environment a little bit better, and make sure that everyone's having fun, and that's something to keep in mind. The third way is one of my favorite ways, is to really just use the GMTSS. So if you happen to be building in an area where you're fortunate enough where there's a GMTSS and there's an active GMTSS in the area, take advantage of that, because that I've built in some areas where we didn't have a GMTSS, and it was really difficult because we didn't have this. We didn't have the big environment where the big speakers come in, and they talk about how to build their businesses. They share their experience. But one of the most important things is that the big speakers that come in, especially for, let's say, like a local seminar, they always push the next conference. So it's absolutely key for us to get people out to the GMTSS event, especially when it's a lot cheaper and a lot more realistic to sell a $30 ticket that sends them to a local address to get the training, versus a $200 ticket that takes them all the way to Miami. So take advantage of that. But one thing that really did really help us in our team was one of the local seminars. This was a couple of years ago when we were just fresh, when we were starting out. Andy Dokas had come into the area, and he was doing a local seminar. And this was a seminar. He didn't have like many slides. He got the coordinator to print out the basic 5 diagnostic tests. Do you guys remember that? The basic 5 diagnostic tests? We can find them right now on our downloads. Just go to Unfranchise, under the download section, just search for diagnostic. The first thing that comes up is the basic 5 diagnostic test. He went through this with us. Imagine this, it was a local seminar, and Andy Dokas had, and us, we all had a copy of these in our hands, and we went through each question, and we graded ourselves as we went through it. But a really cool thing that he did was, when it came to this question right here, where it says, do you treat this like a business, not a hobby? And everybody was, had their pens out, and we were serious about the business, so we were ready to put 4s in the personal column. And he stops us. He says, "Wait, hold on, don't give yourself a 4 just yet. Now just stand up if you think you treat this like a business." So we all stood up, and he says, "Sit down if you already have 3 tickets to the next convention." And only half the room started sitting down. And that's when we realized, hey, if we really don't want to treat this like a hobby, and we want to treat this like a business, we need to put our money where our mouth is, and make sure we get, you know, the convention ticket. So here's how we can take advantage of using the GMTSS like in selling tickets. Number one is to take note of all upcoming events and get tickets for these events. It makes it a lot easier for the coordinators to make sure they get the right room and make sure they get the best environment fit to fill the whole group. Learn the speaker's bio. This is key. Anytime, you know, somebody comes in, and especially if it's somebody that we don't know or we're not familiar with, figure out the bio. Go on YouTube. We've got the power profile videos usually on there. Learn about them, and so that we can edify them to our prospects when we bring them to these events. And it's been statistically proven that whenever we edify, whenever we say something nice about somebody, the person that we're inviting usually has a better time at the event itself. So, you know, we've got in Toronto, we've got Jim Winkler coming in on November 17th. So we're gonna use the heck out of that event and use that event to push us towards Miami. The third thing is, even though, you know, the speaker that comes in will be doing a lot of the work in promoting the next event and selling the tickets. We want to do the best that we can do, and what we want to do, what we want to really focus on, is to be a pro at introducing people to other people. What do I mean? I've been to you know, I've been to some events where I've got, you know, I'm working the room, walking around, talking to people, and people come up to me and say, hey, hey, Andrew, this is my prospect. Just wanted to come and say hi. And that's it. And it just leaves a weird, awkward moment between us. But what we want to do is we want to focus on being a pro, meaning, you know, if Jim Winkler is coming to town, I'd edify him to my prospect, and when we're at the event, I want to bring my prospect up to Jim and say, hey Jim, amazing seminar today. I wanted to introduce you to one of my good friends, Victor. And Victor here is evaluating the business, and he really you know, took a lot of notes today. What is one tip that you can give him? You know, just a real one quick short tip that you can give him so that we can get him started properly. And and quite oftentimes, the biggest tip that an experienced speaker would give is to get your prospect to the next convention. So that really takes care of a lot of the sales of the tickets for us. I hope this is helpful for everybody. Just remember, even though we're leveraging the system and we're leveraging the speakers, we want to avoid awkward moments and be the best environment, you know, be the best person to take care of the entire meeting environment. If everybody did that, you know, this would be a walk in the park. So after going through these three top methods that I like to use for selling tickets and sharing our education, which do you think is the most important ones? In my experience, we use all of them. When we can, we'll do, you know, personal sales, and we'll bring those people all the way to meet the team. We'll bring them to the GMTSS events, and that makes it a more wholesome approach, and where the chances of people, you know, getting to the convention goes up a lot higher. And one last thing that I wanted to mention about that is that if we're, you know, if you're lucky enough to be building in a team where there are people responsible in helping organize, you know, put us into buses or organize the hotels, take advantage of that. You know, a lot of team leaders are doing this right now for free, and it's like getting a travel agent that organizes group parties for you at no cost. So do take advantage of that and try to help out and try to, you know, our leaders do a lot for us. So if they're organizing, you know, our buses or organizing our hotels, let's try to help out and help them, you know, get the lists ready, help spread the message. But what this does is that it just makes sure that the overall experience in getting to the conference and the experience at the conference itself is it's really seamless and it's really automated. But behind the scenes, all these leaders are working their butts off to organize everything and make it happen. So I have a lot of gratitude to show towards that. And before I close off, the last thing I'd like to mention is, you know, for everybody to just take a look at this screen right here, where we have $200. What's that mean to you? what is the value of $200? Is it expensive? Is it a lot of money, or is it really cheap? For me, that $200 was $200 I didn't have. I couldn't spare that $200, so it meant a lot, and it was really expensive. So when I was at the first conference and they asked me to buy 3 tickets to the next event, it was money that I couldn't really afford to fork up, but it was faith, a leap of faith that I took to get those extra tickets because it meant so much and because it was so expensive. I had to make sure that I sold those tickets. Today, when I buy 3 tickets, it doesn't scare me anymore. So I have to make sure I buy more than 3 tickets. So, and why is that important? Is because the fear that we get when we're picking up all these tickets is that we're afraid that we won't be able to move it out, and we're afraid that we can't sell it, and we would be out $200. But what if that fear could be used to your advantage? We're all afraid. None of us want to lose $200. None of us want to throw away this money. But what if we could use that to our advantage and turn it into an investment? I remember when one time, I think this was 2011, 2010, 2011, I bought extra tickets at a convention. And at the time, it was still a lot of money for me. And I had a partner that he didn't really have the funds to go to the next convention, but I had already picked up his tickets and I had already picked up, extra tickets. So I told him, I said, "Benson, you know what? You don't have to pay me for these tickets at the moment. I know you're tight on funds, and I know you're working a couple jobs to try to make it happen. But here, take this ticket, and I'll make the arrangements for you to make sure we get a hotel room for you. We'll put 5 or 6 people in the room to get the cost down, and we're going on a bus, so it's going to be a lot cheaper than the next trip. But take this ticket. Don't have to pay me for it. I've already paid for it, and just make sure you come to us to convention." And he then told me that if I hadn't have done that, there was no way he would have found the money in time to make it to the conference. Today, Benson is one of my top leaders in my organization. He's a national supervising coordinator, and just so happens 2 years after that day when I gave him that ticket, he had turned into a professional coordinator, and I got a knock on my door, and he came over one day with a brown envelope, and the brown envelope had had $200 in it. And he also gave me a bag of fish and chips for interest. So that was 2 years worth of interest. Like, I got a bag of fish and chips. But what that really got me was, it really got me an organization that generates in excess of 20,000 BV a week, and it really got me to realize that I used that fear that I had to my advantage. Now, even though I was afraid that I would lose the ticket, I'd rather have a butt in the seat than eat the ticket alone. So I want to make sure everybody understands that our job, like, if we want to become earn residual income in the company, we need to become valuable and unnecessary, like all these big leaders. And we are only unnecessary when our whole team is system dependent, not you dependent. And I'd just like to close off by saying thanks again for everybody tuning in. I hope these tips have helped. They certainly helped me, and these are words that I live by. Get inspired, and make sure you get your tickets to Miami. And if you already got some and they're already sold out, great. There's still 3 or 4 months left. Let's get a few more tickets, and let's get as many people to Miami as possible, because you'll never know how many of these investments turned into a full 20,000 BV organization in the next couple of years. So that's that. I want to thank you guys again for paying attention, and thanks to the Chinese leadership team for including me on this webinar. Thank you guys. Take care.
Wow, Andrew, thank you so much for that powerful and dynamic segment. What an amazing portion that you did, and a lot of great tips as well, really emphasizing the importance behind really attending the GMTSS and really investing in yourself and investing in the education. Because because that's what in the end makes the real difference here, right? Is making sure that we have the information that we need to build the best that we can and be the best organization that we can. So thank you again for that, Andrew. So for our second speaker today, I think we're really blessed to have this speaker with us today because of their expertise, because of their vast wealth of knowledge. Dr. Wong is a retired professor at the University of Rochester Medical School. Currently, he's a director at Market America. Today, he's going to be talking to us about the products, especially the fundamentals of the shop.com nutraceuticals, products that are really considered essentials for everybody, and tips on retailing that are especially useful for new unfranchised owners. So please take it away, Dr. Wong.
Thank you very much, and let's get started. Wow, powerful talk by Andrew. You know, it reminds me that when I first get to the Miami, at that time was called Miami World Leadership School, and what I've heard was the powerful speech by JR says that you know, if we our products, we need to change the doctor in this world, will change it one by one. I said, gee, oh, you know, what a ambition. And what happened was that I didn't immediately attend the conference when I joined the business in May. So I missed out the August International Convention. By the time I get to Miami, I said, gee, is this the company that I joined? After, you know, such a short time, I could not recognize it. So basically, it is very important to understand, you know, going to these major events is to keep up with the company. Okay. So anyway, let's get to the products. Okay, a very short introduction myself. I got my PhD from University of Minnesota. Then I became a faculty at University of Minnesota, and later on Tulane University in New Orleans, and finally end up at the University of Rochester in Rochester, New York. For over 40 years, I've been mostly associated with Department of Surgery, and for the last 20-some years of my career, I basically stayed with cardiac heart surgery, cardiac surgery. And I retired in 2007. After that, I basically worked in the field of nutrition and anti-aging. Okay, now it is very important that everybody understand sales is critical to business, to any business. Okay, so if you come to the business have the notion that I'm not going to do sales, and you better you know, look at more carefully. Yeah, but sales is something that people have the misunderstanding. Sales is not to sell things that people don't want. Okay, so it is important, and also that sales is basically to meet someone's needs. So we provide solutions to someone's problem. If you always think that way, then sales become very easy. And the important thing is that stories tells. Okay, so if you have stories about the products, it make it much easier for sale. So importantly is that you have to become a product of the products. So here's my story. When I first joined the business, I already have many years of seasonal allergy. Okay, and basically I'm a when I saw my allergy doctor, he said, "Boy, I cannot believe you're one of the most miserable patients I've ever seen." Okay, I got to this country in 1978. 68, I'm sorry, 68. And I immediately developed seasonal allergy the second year. And that means from that point on until okay, 2005, I met my solution. That was the purple stuff, the OPC3, that basically alleviated my allergy. Okay, and in 2006, my secretary was diagnosed with lupus. I know many of you probably know this is a very devastating disease. Okay, lupus in Chinese is 红斑狼疮. Um, and just because she was my secretary, the information on our products, and I said, if you wanted to use them, uh, I'll give you, I'll give it to you as free, because just to show my appreciation that you have helped me all these years. And she took it. Okay, in less than 3 months, he came back to work from total. Uh, he claimed a disability, total disability. She came back to work. Okay, and a year later, she went back to check her lupus indicators were all back to normal. So that built my confidence, okay, from my personal experience and from this experience with my secretary. I said, gee, these products are so great. And unfortunately, in 2007, my daughter at that time was 30 years old with her second baby. She was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, 类风湿关节炎. She suddenly became a 78-year-old lady. She could not hold a bag of grocery. She could not hold her baby. She could not go upstairs. Okay. And we introduced products to her. Of course, she would refuse to it. Okay, because what am I? You know, I'm not her doctor. You know, she was on a methotrexate and steroids. Methotrexate is a product, is a drug used to as a chemotherapy drug. But in the meantime, it can cause secondary cancer. My wife is a pathologist, so she brought that issue to her and says, Jesse, if you want to grow up, if you wanted to be alive when your daughter grows up and get married, you better not to use these drugs. Then she took that and started to use our nutritional products. And today she is basically disease-free. And by the way, she is a full-time lawyer. Okay, so these are all stories, and very early on in my market career, built my confidence on the products. So then I decided I have to become a product specialist with all my medical and biological knowledges. Okay. Now, in 2013, there was a congressional hearing on dietary supplement. This is U.S. Congress, and indicated that nutritional supplementation can reduce the occurrence of medical events related to heart diseases, diabetes, age-related eye diseases, and osteoporosis, especially in the high risk population. The supplements the caucus talked about are fiber, omega-3, phytosteroids, B vitamins, chromium, okay, lutein and zeaxanthin, calcium, vitamin D, and magnesium. Okay, so these are very common nutritional supplements, and it can really help the high-risk patient and reduce their chances of getting these devastating diseases. At the meantime, cut down the medical costs. Okay, so because of that, okay, supplementation is no longer considered a luxury. Okay, I'm going to not go into the details, and you can see the supplementation is required to get the nutrition you need today. Okay, there are many reasons why. Okay, but that's the bottom line. You got to supplement. Okay, a week ago, okay, talking about education, I was at the East Coast Product Symposium. And that's where I get the knowledge. Of course, one of the places I get knowledge from the company. Okay, I have been attending this symposium for many, many years. Okay, and they talked about this, the top 10 concerns of Americans today. Okay, what are the top 10? Okay, because uh, as a we are all uh, shopping consultants, right? So we need to know what our customer needs are, and these are the things that they need. Okay, number 10, they are very concerned about their food, their diet. Am I eating correctly? That's number 1. Number 10. Then stress. Okay, is stress killing me? What effect does stress have on my health? And we know stresses are very, very bad to our health. Okay. Number 8, overweight. You see, in the United States, in Canada as well, uh, in Europe, the same thing. Okay, about 70% of the adult, okay, are overweight, okay, or obese. It's a big problem. Okay, is it okay to gain weight as I age? I heard that somewhere. Okay, number 7, sleep. Today, are we getting enough sleep? Okay, due to pressure, due to family responsibilities, job, all these things. Okay, so we sleep less. On top of that, when you get home, you're tired, then you have to watch TV, right? You have to look at your iPad, your iPhone, and other stuff, and that all rob our sleep. And do you get enough sleep? Okay, that's very important. Then aging. The baby boomers are all getting old now. Okay, and people are getting old, and they say, "Am I aging well? Maybe I should look into having some work done." Okay, or what is all the fuss on free radicals and antioxidants? So we have to let people know aging is a process that is natural, but it's not totally unavoidable. Especially at this conference, you know, the speakers talk about there are actually processes we can reverse. Energy. Do you have enough energy to deal with your daily chores? Okay. Number 4, money. Money issue, of course, is something that Andrew is already talked about. It's about our, unfranchised business. So I'm not going to dwell upon that. Number 3, digestive issues. Does health begin in the gut? I can't eat like I used to, whether you have diarrhea, whether you have constipation, these are all digestive issues. Number 2, physical activities. Am I looking good? Am I in good shape? Okay, I'm sure everybody look into the mirror, they think they're still, young and masculine and handsome. Of course, even when they have a beer belly, they will just suck it in and pretend that they're okay. So are we doing enough exercise? The number 1 issue is I'm scared to death about losing my mind. When you talk about getting old, you have dementia or uh, Alzheimer's disease, right? So we have to keep our brain healthy. That consider all these concerns. Then again, I want to stress supplementation is no longer a luxury because there are ways we can deal with all these concerns, and that's our products. Okay, but when you talk about nutritional supplement, it is important to understand it's not what you take. It's more importantly is what can you absorb. If you take it and you cannot absorb it, it's no good. Just take a look at this. Okay, this is an X-ray. You can see those 3 circles, that those spots. Those are pills. Okay, and if this picture is not clear enough, let's look at another picture. This picture is very clear. You see that's a spinal column, right? And below is the hip bone. So these pills are already in the colon. They're not in the small intestine. If they're in the colon and still in pill form, that means you will not be able to absorb them. Okay, that means you will not get any advantage. So the disadvantage of pill delivery is pill may not be completely dissolved before moving into intestinal tract. Number two, pills can get caught in the folds of the stomach and cannot be, digested. And pill dissolves, but the water taken with it makes the stomach dump contents and the absorption site become saturated. It's hard to understand. What it means is that basically you won't absorb it totally. Okay, so instead, Marca provided a different solution. It's called the isotonics advantage. Okay, it's that many of our nutritional supplements are in powder form, and you can make it into a solution, and it's quickly absorbed, high concentration of vitamins and minerals, and maximum results. We're talking about 90 to 95% absorption. So, okay, in comparison, the pills minimum absorption, and when you take it, it dilutes the concentration. Okay. So what it means by isotonics? Okay, isotonics is that basically when you make our powder into a solution, mix certain amount of powder with certain amount of water. You have to do it very carefully. You cannot just do it haphazardly. Okay, then that fluid has the same constitution as our body fluid, like our tears and like our blood and tissue fluid, and that will makes it very easy for our body to absorb. Okay, this is a picture showing that if it's you take a look at the bottom. Okay, if it's a capsule or a tablet, okay, it takes 40 minutes to 4 hours to dissolve it. Okay, then the body will absorb it, and what happens? It's greatly diluted by the gastric fluid. Okay, so the absorption is very poor. You're talking about 30%, 40% absorption. On top is the isotonic solution. It gets into the stomach, and immediately it sends a signal to the pyloric valve. Okay, pyloric valve is the valve that controls the gastric content so that it will not get into the intestine before it's totally digested. But our fluid is so much like a completely digested tissue fluid. So it gets into the stomach, it hits the pyloric valve, it opens, then it goes into the small intestine and get absorbed. Within 5 minutes, it's already in our bloodstream. By 40 minutes, it's totally gone. Okay, so that's the differentiator. The differentiator between our products in isotonics forms and the pill forms not in isotonic forms. You see, a pill does not fully deliver it into your bloodstream. The vitamins it holds within. Either the pill is dumped whole into the intestinal tract, or the active ingredients pass through without fully absorbed. But vitamins taken in the isotonic form do not have these shortcomings. Okay, so that's very important. So again, why isotonic delivery is important? Number one, it's a speedy delivery to the bloodstream. Then to prevent influx into of the water into intestinal tract. Third one, it prevents discomfort and the diarrhea. In that regard, if you have diarrhea, you drink isotonics, solution, especially our nutritional supplement, that will stop diarrhea sometimes. Okay, so today I would like to provide a systematic understanding of products, because one of the things that especially the new UFOs is that, boy, it's overwhelming. We have so many of them. We have hundreds of products. How I might be able to introduce them to my friends, to my, to myself, to my relatives, to my friends, and to anybody that I wanted to help. Okay, in general, we have general health, weight management, digestive health, antioxidant, heart health, joint health, children's health, women's health, men's health, anti-aging, blood sugar management. Okay, these are categories. But if you look at the isotonics family, it's even more confusing, isn't it? Okay, so, but on top of that, we have not only isotonic product, we have others. They are not in isotonic form. Okay, I'm not going to go to each one of them, but I list some of them. Definitely the list is not exhaustive, but it goes from A to V. Okay, from the isotonic side, from A to V. Again, from the non-isotonic side. There are too many of them. How am we able to understand all that? Don't worry, okay? Start from one. Okay, let's take a look. This is my idea about our products, okay? The first line, the first type of product you want to do is to deal with digestive health, okay? The detox. Okay, we have the detox, the NutriClean 7-day detox, for example. Okay, that's the first thing you want to do. The first issue is to take care of your digestive tract. Okay, so when you meet someone, the first question you ask, do you have healthy digestive tract? Do you have diarrhea? Do you have constipation? Do you have indigestion? Any of those questions, that's the number one. Don't just give them purple stuff to start with. Okay, that will defeat your whole purpose. Number two, okay, then you can introduce our TLS weight management system to them. And this is also a blood sugar control. Okay, what happens is this: TLS basically is a lifestyle, okay, program for weight management, but it's to build a healthy lifestyle. So theoretically, and actually, I know there are groups, they suggest that everyone should do it, okay? At least do it once to understand what TLS is all about. And then many people go through the TLS program, end up, having their blood pressures, their blood glucose, and their triglyceride levels, that's blood lipid levels, come back to normal. They don't need any medicine to do anything like that. So that's number two. Number three, then we talk about fundamental nutrition. Okay, these are nutritional supplements. In short term, is a metabolic tuning or metabolic restoration. Okay, bring your metabolism from non-ideal state to the ideal state. But long-term supplements can change the gene expression. It can allow your good gene to be expressed and inhibit the expression of your bad gene. Okay, then, oops, wrong button. Okay, then the next things to talk about is anti-inflammation, and many of our antioxidants are all anti-inflammatory. So that's the next thing to talk about. On top of that, then we can talk about children's, women, and adults. Okay, adult, of course. In this regard, I talk about men and women. Okay, women have their special needs. Okay, now after that, we can talk about special organ tissue. For example, we can talk about immunity. We can talk about cardiovascular, bone and joint, or vision. Okay, or we can look at from a different angle. That's what I've learned at this product symposium. That how do we deal with stress? How about what can help out with sleep? And how about giving us more energy? And how about my brain function? I want to always be sharp. Okay, how about anti-aging? If we do all these things, okay, then we can achieve so-called shop.com nutritional health product wellness. Okay, so we'll deal with wellness. We're not dealing with sickness. It is important for everybody to understand that the biggest population, our customers, are not the ones with devastating diseases. Okay, we always want to help those ones with almost incurable diseases, but that's not our duty. Okay, that's the doctor's duty to do that. What we should do is we should help the people. They are overstressed, you're overworked, they are the people with suboptimum health conditions. In Chinese, we call it 亚健康. Okay, those are the biggest population, and those are the ones that we should help. Understand that. Okay, now, so talking about all these things, you said, come on, there's so many products. Where should I start? Okay, this is what I believe. What I believe is that everyone should start with these 6 key products. What are these 6 key products? Basically, daily essential kits plus omega-3s plus vitamin D3 and K2. So what are the daily essentials? Basically, OPC3, activated B complex, multivitamins, okay, calcium, and those are the 4, right? That's called the daily essential. Then on top of that, omega-3 and vitamin D plus K2. So let's take a look of the compare what are these different products can offer. Okay, if you look at the multivitamin, it supports a strong immune system. It helps maintain healthy blood pressure. It supports the immune health. Okay, and relief from inflammation, it's not there. Okay, it supports strong, healthy bones because it contains calcium, and support a healthy weight. Okay, but if we look at OPC3, it provides new sets of function, right? It helps with your steroids, immune systems, blood pressure, immune health, and relief from inflammation. Okay. Now, if you look at calcium, it's needed for cholesterol, immune systems, blood pressure. Definitely, you need calcium. Okay, and also strong bones and teeth and weight management. When it comes to B complex, of course, it is very important for our immune systems and support healthy weight and mood because it deals with stress. Omega-3, okay, then it's healthy cholesterol, okay, blood pressure, inflammation. Omega-3, strong anti-inflammation and mood. It deals with our brain also, okay? Now, if you look at the vitamin D and K2, and it's immune systems and healthy bones, weight management, and mood. Okay, especially in northern Canada and United States, we don't get enough sun. Okay, in the wintertime, sometimes 4 months up to 6 months. Then your vitamin D will not be sufficient, so you have to get vitamin D. But if you look at these 6 products, it covers most of the important issues that we are concerned about. Okay, so these are the 6 key products that I like to suggest that everyone get onto it. Okay. Now, in addition, now talk about business itself. So it's important that not only we know the products, not only we use the product, it's that we have to be able to what? Able to show this product to other people. Okay, that's why these new packages is a great help. For example, we have Trim Tea, and now of course we have Trim Cafe. You know, these are great weight management product and digest enzymes that is absolutely necessary for the, you know, for example, for tonight, my wife, you know, because we have out of town guests, boy, you can't believe she cooked so much food. Okay, there was lobster, there was lamb chop, there was lamb stew, and there was shrimps. Oh boy, you know, I already told myself you cannot eat so much, otherwise you cannot you cannot even speak at the webinar. So what I did, okay, I curtailed my appetite, make sure I don't eat too much, but I still give myself, I prepared a big solution, a big cup of the isotonic digestive enzymes, help me to get that. Okay, mocha tonics are like cafe, but coffee. I'm sorry, it's like coffee, but it will not give you the crash after the turn on. Okay, a great flavor, and of course, ultimate aloe. Boy, that's such a good product. Okay, just uh, 2 weeks ago, I was in China. Okay, it was a 2 week travel, 2 weeks travel, and a group of 20 some of us all came from United States. Most of us are over 70 years old. Okay, only two of them not so. So we're old, right? Getting old, and the last leg of the trip was from Shenyang to Dalian. Okay, a 12-hour train ride. Basically, we slept. One of the members in our group suddenly, when she went to the bathroom, she found blood in her urine. Okay, it was not just spotty blood. She was urinating blood. It was so scary. Okay, so what happened? It turned out that we have aloe powder with us. We immediately provided aloe powder to her. Okay, by the morning, she says her pain was gone, the blood stopped. Amazing drug, amazing medicine, products. Of course, then when we get to Dalian, she checked into the hospital. It turned out to be that because on the trip, she on a bus, with a bus trip, she didn't want uh, to, to to drink too much water. If she drinks too much water, then what happens was then of course she has to go urinate too often. So anyway, she has a kidney stone that robbed the tissue and broke, disrupted the tissue. That's why it caused the blood bleeding. Anyway, so that's a great chance that we would provide product, and now she became our customer. Okay, with all these packages, I'll do comfort lending. For example, if you want to travel, what's the best way to do it? Yes, of course, I just use this as an example. Necessarily, I suggest you package them. You put all the ones that you need. Of course, we have turn up, turn down, aloe, digestive enzymes, and also the daily essentials, the trim tea, the trim coffee, and also the women's health, the tons of these packages now. So what you can do is package them in a small snack plastic bag. Okay, if you go out for 3 days, you can have three of them. If you have 5 days, you package 5 of them. Of course, another one I forgot to mention is heart health systems. It has the fish oil, the Triactive, and also the Libitrim. So it's very convenient when you go through the airport. It's not a problem for security inspection. So anyway, so today I give you a very broad introduction to all the products, and I also provide you some of my personal stories and end up with some tips that may help you to increase your sales. Okay, thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you so much for your expertise, Dr. Wan, and your great information about the products. Guys, we're going to have one last speaker tonight. I know we're at our hour, but we are going to introduce at the very end our very own Daniel Cao. He is our local coordinator in the LA area, and currently he is an executive director with Market America, so a very successful business partner. So please, guys, go ahead and let Daniel go ahead and speak.
All right, thank you, Whitney, for your introduction. My name is Daniel, and I'm joining you from Arcadia, California. Tonight's webinar campaign could have been completed by now, but Chinese Leadership Council is dedicated and determined to educate the field about the importance of safeguarding the integrity of MPCP, Management Performance Compensation Plan. So please bear with me for 4 to 5 minutes, and let me remind you about 5 things we must not do. First, the things like the first thing that is forbidden is to market our products on any websites other than shop.com. For instance, sites like Amazon, eBay, Taobao, and so on. It is a strong violation of a company policy. It sucks out the oxygen for other unfranchised owners to breathe, and it destroys the market for us to survive. If you know anyone selling products on eBay, Taobao, Amazon, or any other websites, please report to your upline leader or Greensboro immediately. Number 2, do not sell products to countries that are not yet authorized for business activities by Market America. Use global.shop.com/your site name. Number 3, do not set up fake accounts and try to beat our pay plan by manipulating volumes. So never give out your back office passwords to anyone. And do not enter other people's back office for 4,000 or placing orders, or you will face severe consequences. Number 4, do not undercut and sell low, or do not sell to any middleman. We only sell to end users. This kind of activity is destroying the market, so don't do it. Number 5, okay, this is the last one. Do not involve in any activity of cross-line sponsoring, which means do not steal people from other organizations by over-promising or any languages intended to mislead them to believe that they can only succeed by joining your organization. Then before I go, let me stress one more time. The Chinese Leadership Council is extremely serious about these issues. We move tickets, we move products, and we must safeguard the integrity of MPCP. Thank you all for having me. Good night.
I thank you again, Daniel Kao, for going over the new 5 no-nos. Guys, it is imperative that as business owners, we want to build, like Daniel said, with integrity, but also ethically. All right, so we did want to review those 5 new no-nos so that you guys know what you aren't supposed to do. Because again, if you are doing these things, you will get in trouble and there will be consequences that do affect your business. So please, again, be on the lookout for unethical behavior in the business and within your organization. If you do see things like that, please do report it to your upline if you can. All right, guys, thank you again for joining us for this new webinar series. Like we mentioned, this will be ongoing. We will be doing 2 Mandarins and 1 English webinar per month. This was our English one for this month, but we will be having another Chinese webinar next Sunday around the same time as this one. So please, if you guys are interested, join us for that and share that info with your team as well. I want to thank you again for joining us tonight. I know we went over a little bit, but I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your night, wherever that you are. This has been recorded, so as soon as it's done buffering, I will share the recording on the usual groups. So thank you again, guys. Have a great night, great morning, and goodbye.